Welcome to In the Company of Cards, Weekend Edition. I'm Erica Robinson, author of The Language of Lenormand, as well as Erica's Lenormand of Hope, the deck, which I will be reading with today. And I want to look at a question that I've looked at before here, but now that we are on the cusp of it, on the eve of it, I thought I would give it a closer look. And that is this week's upcoming DNC convention. I may do a deeper dive on this on Substack with my 23 card layout. So if you're into reading and you'd like to see that full layout, look for my next Substack, because I think I will do that. For now, I'm going to just do some quick 5-card reads on certain aspects of the convention. So the first thing I want to do is just look at it overall. How will it go overall? Will it be, a kumbaya experience? Will it be a celebration? Or, as some of the astrologers are saying, because astrologically the planets are aligned, and I don't know anything about this, but planets are aligned such that they are in exact the exact configuration that they were back in 1968 during the actual Democratic convention. That was in Chicago. I was a kid. I watched it, and I mean, it was a show, if you know what I mean. So, people say that, oh, history repeats itself. I don't think so. Not so much. I think it's concentric. So we will return approximately to that same space, but we are changed. I mean, I look nothing like I looked in 1968. Hair's a lot whiter, a few more wrinkles, not many though. So I'm happy about that. But anyway, I just want to look at the overall energy of the convention. So I've shuffled and I'm cutting the deck, and then I'm going to look for a card to represent the convention for me. And I feel like I want to use the garden, because the garden is the card for a gathering, a big gathering. Now, while this is also a meeting and I could have used the birds, I just prefer to use the garden. So this will be the center card, and it will stand for the DNC convention. And remember, we're just looking first at a broad overview of it. Okay, so I'm pulling the 2 cards that came before it and the 2 cards that come after. So let me say this. I will hold them up. We have the bouquet. We have the older man. We have our garden in the center. We have the stork. And we have the ring. So what might these cards mean? Putting them back in order so I can talk about them in order. Bouquet. A bouquet is like a gift, a reward. And my God, could we not all use a reward after the however many years it's been of who doing what? So this is great. And I can mirror, meaning look at this card together with another card. And the card that I can mirror this with is the last card, and that's the ring. So I like this, it makes me think of, will the circle be unbroken? Can we all come together? Is that the gift that we're going to be given? Is that for all of our differences, are the Democrats going to be able to coalesce during this conference? And it looks like the answer to that is yes. The second card is the older man. This is my Biden card. And I can mirror that with the 4th card, and that's the stork. I really am happy to see this because, he's speaking tomorrow. I know that it will be, a love letter to Biden, this convention, but he's got to be feeling some type of way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so I was curious as to how he will feel, or how the convention will have him feeling by the end of it. I heard he's only going to be there for Monday, but of course he'll be watching. And I love the stork because the stork is about positive change. I think that he may be able in his head to do what he's been doing outwardly. Outwardly, he's been quite the team player, um, quite the sacrificial hero. But in his head, he's got to feel some type of way. I mean, he was shoved away. He was shoved off his perch. Um, but here, this indicates that he will feel better about that. I mean, it's a weird thing because he'll be celebrated both for his long career, but also for this move, for allowing himself, I guess you could say, to be moved off stage. I think he will feel better about having done it. I think his spirit will match his outward affect, and that he will understand the good that he's done the country. Doing good for the country doesn't always necessarily feel good to the individual, but I think he will be received in such a way that he will feel good. And again, we're looking at this first card together with the second card, right? I mean, this will be his reward. They say, give me my flowers while I'm still alive. We will be giving him his flowers. So that's really nice. I like that. Now, what I don't see anywhere is any kind of disruption or dissension. Now, we all know that there very well may be protesters at this convention, probably pro-Palestinian protesters in this convention. And it's part of the American way to allow protest, not insurrection, but protest. And so I think it will happen. They will be there, but I don't see them disrupting things. This looks like a very joyous, peace-filled love fest. I've said that before. I'm saying it again. I understand that we have a full moon coming on Thursday, which is when Harris speaks, but and that crazy things can happen. But I don't see um, uh, anything 1968 like. I'll just put it like that. Okay. Now, you can always, you can look at an issue through different lenses, right? So I think that I looked at the convention overall and it seems fine. Very much a kumbaya vibe. I also was going to look at Biden and how he would feel at the end of it, but that showed up already, so we don't have to look at that. I think that I would like to look at it from Harris's perspective next and just see how she will be feeling. She and Walz, I'll group them together, but she will be the card that I look for. How they will feel after this convention experience. So I'm looking for the older woman, and she will represent the Harris Walz ticket. She's deep in the deck, which doesn't mean anything except that I have to flip a lot of cards. Okay, got her. And I'm just pulling 2 cards in front of her and then 2 cards after her. Okay. Interesting cards. So remember, we're looking at the ticket, the Harris Walz ticket, and we're looking at it through the lens of the convention. What will that experience be like for her and for him? How will they feel at the end of it? So we have the anchor. We have the card that I've added to the deck. This is not a traditional card, but it's the scales. There's Harris/Walz. We have the whip. And then finally, we have the fox. Okay, so let's look at these. First of all, the anchor. We've seen this card before, and I've explained before that it's a kind of an oxymoronic card because it can mean opposite things. On the one hand, an anchor can keep us safe and secure. On the other hand, sometimes an anchor can weigh us down. So when I think about, well, what would this card mean in the context of the other cards, right? In the context of the reading, I look to see what are the other cards. Well, the next one is the scales. This is a card about cost benefit analysis, about balance, about justice. So I think that this is a good anchor. This is not an anchor that weighs you down. This is an anchor where they will feel secure. Remember, this is Walz Harris. They will feel secure in their position. They will feel supported by the electorate in their position. And that's a great way to go into a general election, right? Um, they do appear uh, in the way that Fox used to describe itself and never was, which is fair and balanced. Fair and balanced. There is nothing over the top, hyperbolic, ugly, um, sensationalist about their approach to this election. And that's quite a relief to a populace that has felt weighted down, right? It's nice to have this kind of approach. Okay, here they are in the middle. Now, this is interesting. The next card we have is the whip. The whip is the card for discipline. And this ticket will have to exercise discipline. I can mirror it with the second card, which is the scales. You know, scales are never static as a rule. They're, you know, it's constantly going back and forth and back and forth. And it will take discipline to keep the scales balanced, right? Um, I don't think this is hard for these two. Uh, to sort of, you know, the other side, which engages in ad hominem attacks and sort of weird non sequitur commentary about, you know, sharks and Hannibal Lecter and all of that. This ticket won't do that. They will stay disciplined. They will stay on message. They know that people are concerned about both economy and also quality of life, economy and quality of life. And so they will present to the electorate a balanced message about those things. And I love the fox at the end. The fox is the card that I can mirror with the anchor. The fox in this context is the card for the expert, the professional. These people know how to do this. Harris Walz. So it's as though we're meant to believe that we are in good and safe hands. I know I sound like Pollyanna, but I'm just saying that's what it feels like. And that they will feel the duty of care, as they say, to sort of rebalance the country, to rebalance our priorities, our energies, the way that we communicate with each other, our understanding of each other. They take that as a duty of care. So that's great. So far, so good. Now, the next thing I want to do, call me mean, but I'm going to really shuffle these cards thoroughly because what I would like to do is to look at the effect of this convention on 45. I really continue to believe that there will be a lot of up and down with that particular ticket. Trump, Trump Vance. I don't think that that ticket will stay Trump Vance. I don't know if one or both entities will be present on election day on the ballot. You know, it's hard to know, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. What I am going to be interested in seeing is how will the convention what effect will the convention have on 45? Now, for 45, I'm going to use the bear because that's a narcissist. People tell me, oh, on your channel, when you start your YouTube channel, you should be impartial. Well, I am not impartial. When I read the cards, I read what the cards show me. So to that extent, I'm impartial. I'm reading what I see. But in terms of a preference, if you're looking for me to like Trump as much as I like Harris, I'm not your girl. This is not your channel. Um, okay, I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, I'm using the bear to represent Trump because he's a narcissist. So how will he feel? How will he react to the Democratic convention? Of course, he's already calling it a rigged convention, whatever that means. Let's see, where's my bear? I was looking because I just panicked. I was like, wait, am I really recording? But I think I am recording. All right, here's our bear. Okay. Two cards before it, two cards after it. Okay. And then I think I'll pull a couple of clarifiers. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I pulled a couple of clarifiers on the last two cards, and I'll show you what those are. Okay, so this is all about how 45 will react or will feel at the close of the convention next week, the Democratic convention. So we have the dog, we have the sun, we have the bear, 45. We have the garden, and we have the whip. Okay, so let me put those back down in order. Okay. So, and then my clarifiers are over here. We'll get to them later. All right. The dog. So the dog generally is a good card, right? Loyal, friendly. It can be a sibling, it can be a cousin, it can be a confidant, all of that. Here, this dog stands for Vance, because Vance, of course, is 45's running mate. And what's he doing here? Well, the next card is the sun. Now, in tarot and in Lenormand, traditionally oriented readers will tell you, oh, the sun's the best card in the deck. And a lot of times that's true. But remember the other function of the sun, which is it can burn and it can shine a very bright light on sometimes things that don't necessarily want to have a light shined on them. So just bear in mind, this feels to me very much like Vance, and this is 45 looking hard at Vance, really looking hard at him, because he's going to have to do that, right? He's going to be in his mind juxtaposing his relationship with Vance with Harris's relationship with Walz. And I don't think that the comparison will be favorable. He's going to say, well, how come I can't have a running mate whom I like, who's fun, who will champion me, et cetera, et cetera. He will see Vance for what he is. And I mean, it's not like he didn't see it before, because as I told you, I don't think Trump picked Vance. I think the Project 2025 people picked Vance. But at any rate, it's going to shine a light on that, the dynamic between him and Vance in an unfavorable way. After the bear, which is in the center, we have the garden. This is the electorate. So he's going to be watching all of this, all of the wild applause and the ovations and the positive spin that, is going to be put on this convention. And he's going to say, "Hmm," because this is the electorate. This is possibly people who could vote for him or for her or for whoever. This is just the electorate. And then we have the whip at the end. Now, we saw the whip in the last set of cards. Here it means something different. Why would it mean something different? Because it's coming in the context of different cards. Um, this is painful for him. We can do the mirroring. So let's do the mirroring. We can mirror the whip, which is the last card, with the first card. So dog mirroring whip means there is contention between Trump and his camp and Vance and his camp. This is sort of harsh, hostile words, talking at cross purposes. There is no alignment between the two of them, except that they're power hungry, greedy, bigoted misogynists. But anyway, the other thing I can do is I can mirror the sun and the garden. So what would that mean? I mean, these are great cards, right? The sun, ooh, garden, ooh. But in the context of the reading, it says to me that 45 will see clear as a bell the lay of the land, the electoral land. That in order to win, it's not going to be he gets the most votes. He's going to have to resort to some sort of chicanery, bad dealings if he were to win this thing, because he sees the handwriting on the wall. People are way more positively disposed to the Democratic ticket, just saying. Now, what I did was when I got to the garden and the whip, I thought it might be interesting to pull cards on those two. So for the garden, I just pulled two clarifiers. What comes up is, again, my scales card and then my young man card. So what does that mean? Well, remember, these cards are being pulled as clarifiers for the garden. The garden stands for the electorate. And Trump will understand, because he understands audiences, right? And he understands polling and things like that. He understands that what the electorate wants is just some peace, some equanimity, some calm after all of the crap he's created. And I love this young man energy, because the young man energy is not old. The Walz Harris ticket, Harris Walz ticket is has a younger, more energetic, less 1980s vibe. And this is what people want. And I mean, he can't miss it. He has to see it, and it's got to be painful. So then on the whip, remember that the whip in this case is, harsh words, dissension. It's going to be like 4 days of him being slashed with a whip. Lashed with a whip. That's what it's going to feel like to him, like an actual whip. So I drew clarifiers on that. And the clarifiers are the house and the snake. So let me just say again, whenever I see the house in the context of these political readings, it's the White House. So he is beleaguered and beset by the fact that to get to the White House is going to be a problem for him. A snake indicates a problem. So how will he be feeling as compared to how will Harris and Walz be feeling? He will be feeling even worse than he does already. Now, remember, when he gets like that, when he feels like that, okay, when he feels like that, bad things can happen. It's like a cornered rat. If there's a rat and it's cornered between your refrigerator and your stove, and you get the broom and you're going to like poke him, well, I'm pretty sure, I mean, I've never experienced this, but I'm pretty sure he's going to, show his nasty fangs and try to attack you because he's a cornered rat. So I decided, wait, let me pull 3 clarifiers on our friend 45. How is he going to feel at the end of this convention? And I have ship, young woman, and cross. What does that mean? Well, here's the ship. It means that he, in his antichrist way, because he's kind of the antichrist, will say something Jesus-like, which is, let this cup pass from my lips. He just wishes everything could go away. He doesn't, it's too much. He just doesn't want to be part of this. He just wishes he could sail away. Okay. And this is very interesting energy. And it's yin energy. And the energy is passive. Like, he doesn't have any tools in his tool chest to adequately, accurately, effectively fight the Harris-Walz onslaught, because it's an onslaught of positivity, of actual positions on issues, etc. So it makes him feel weakened. And this is a card of just speaking of Antichrist and Christ, this is a card of just straight up pain. He is feeling pain. Now, once this is over, once the convention's over, I am really going to spend some more time on him at the end of next week, because I'm not convinced that he will be the head of the Republican ticket going forward. But this is a card of real pain. It will come across, of course, not as pain, but the way that he expresses pain, which is anger, hostility, ad hominem attacks, just ugliness. But at bottom, understand that what he is experiencing is existential annihilation, ego destruction, and it's incredibly painful. And the body is an organism that is, the mind and the body are connected, and this is going to start to have an even more appreciable effect, I think, on his physical self, because the body can only sustain so much. I'm not saying he's gonna, not be with us, if you know what I mean. I'm saying that the pain the psychic pain that he feels, psychological pain that he feels, not psychic, you know what I mean, will start to sort of manifest in physical ways. So we really are watching the, I was going to say decomposition, but that's not what I meant. The deterioration of someone, granted, of their own doing, of their own making, but still, it's sad. And I think he deserves our prayers. And I don't mean that in any kind of snarky way. I'm serious. It's a heart attack. He deserves our prayers, because he will be in deep pain this week and moving forward. So that's my read on the convention and how it will be received by the principals involved. I know I will be on the edge of my seat with popcorn and a beverage of my choice. Please, I hope you watch it as well. And if you have questions for me that you'd like me to address here, just please leave them in the comments. Thank you to new subscribers. Thank you to old subscribers who are coming back, and considering I'm only a couple of weeks old. I appreciate your continued support. Again, you can also find me on Substack in the Company of Cards there as well. And that's where I write what I see in the cards. So thank you very much. Have a great rest of the weekend. Get your beauty sleep tonight because we're going to be watching that convention all week. Take care.